It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Petrus Brewery in Belgium. I'm really excited to bring you this beer today. This is their double ale, 330 milliliter bottle, 7% ABV. Dark bottle. Picked it up in Lidl. It was £6.99 for 4 bottles. As part of their Craft Beer Festival of 2022, July 2022. And as soon as I seen this, picked up 4 bottles straight away. Went in my trolley. I've been to this brewery. They produce some really, really good beers. I went to a European Beer Bloggers Conference a few years ago, and they did a demonstration at the Bloggers Conference talking about how sour beer works, and it was really interesting, really interesting. I learned a lot that day from the brewers at Petrus who were on stage talking about how sour beer works. I mean, if I got time later on in the review, I'll briefly talk about it because it's quite interesting. So stay around for that. We got a 1 finger tan coloured head, good levels of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. It's a little bit of light bleeding through, but it's not a stout. Definitely not a stout. It's a double ale from Belgium. There is allowance for that little bit of light bleeding through. Let's get the aroma. Just tremendous. Oh wow, just tremendous. Loads of yeasty, plummy, estery flavours coming from this beer. Belgian beers are some of my favourite beers. Some of the Belgian beers out there are just absolutely fantastic. It's the reason why I bought it from this little craft beer festival. So £6.99 works out at about £1.73 a bottle, if my maths is correct. For a beer like this at £1.73, that's just incredible. Just to give you another supermarket, I went to Tesco. I bought another Belgian beer in Tesco, and that was £3. That was £3. So this is nearly half the price of other Belgian beers from other supermarkets. So always look at Lidl. I always look at that little magazine that comes downloaded on my phone, or it's sent through the app these days. And I just have a brief, every week, as soon as it comes out, I have a little brief look, see what's coming into Lidl. As soon as I see the beers there, bang, from there, I'm having a look, especially the Belgian beers. The aroma on this beer is tremendous. Mixed fruits, mixed marmalades, mixed jams. It's malty, it's bready. Oh, let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Lovely. Smashing. Burst of carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. It's got a really kind of brown bread feel to it. Bready, biscuity. And you know that really posh brown bread you can buy with maybe the nuts on the top, the flour coated bread with different nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds and all that kind of loveliness that's going on. This is like a liquefied loaf of that nutty, seedy, really expensive bread. The smallest amount of licorice coming through. The mouthfeel is surprisingly refreshing, even though it's got that kind of little zing, that little zest of creaminess, that richness. The malt body, if you like, that malt body at 7.1% ABV, but it's still still drinkable. It's still refreshing somehow. And the Belgians have got that. I think it's the carbonation. The carbonation in the beer just lifts the beer so much. When you have a really good Belgian beers, the carbonation on the beer is always, I would use the word elevated. It's always a higher level of carbonation when you get a good Belgian beer. There's a little taste of sweet apple in there. It's just wonderful. It's just really, really wonderful stuff. It's well worth that £6.99 for 4 bottles. Now, are you interested in that kind of, that quick Petrus story? I'll tell it very quickly. So I was at the European Beer Bloggers Conference in Belgium before we went to the Petrus Brewery. And the Petrus Brewery were on stage at the hotel. We had a big conference room, this hotel, and they were talking about the souring of beers in Belgium. So they talked about a process. I'm going to be really brief and simplistic with this. So they put a beer in a barrel, or if they don't put it in a barrel, they put it in a vat of beer, and then they leave it. So the beer then, if it's on a chart, if you think about this as a chart, it goes up on the chart and it goes stale. It tastes, if you drank that beer after like 6 months to a year, it would taste like balsamic vinegar. It would be off. But something happens after about 18 months to 2 years. The sourness tips and it goes back down the other way. And if you leave it long enough, some Belgian brewers will leave their beers for 3 years. Some of the great Belgian lambics, some of the great Belgian fruit beers, the sour fruit beers, the creeks, they'll leave them, the frambooses, they'll leave them kind of come back down the other side on the graph until they hit a level of the fruitiness comes back. If it's a cherry lambic, you'll taste the cherries, and it's a maturation process. So you'll taste all of the cherries, and you'll taste a certain kind of sourness that comes through, but it's definitely not balsamic vinegar. And I learned that from the brewers at Petrus. They were on the stage talking about this process. I've given you a very simplified version. They were talking about this kind of very subject for 45 minutes. It was much more in depth. I've given you like a quick 30-second kind of look at this souring process. And I've probably got bits wrong, to be honest with you, but it's a very kind of simplified version of how they sour beer in Belgium. Brewed by the Brabandere in Belgium, Rikswijk in Belgium. There's nothing else I can really read on the back of the bottle. It's all imported. It's imported beer from Belgium, this. But it looks good. Look at the beer as I rock it back and forth. Look at the quality of that beer. It smells good. It tastes absolutely wonderful. I really like that. I'm so glad I got another 3 bottles left after reviewing this one. I'm going to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!